He ran marathons, he ate clean, his resting heart rate was 52, and at 38 years old he dropped dead on a Tuesday morning tying his shoes. No warning, no chest pain, no second chance. Every year, thousands of people who look like the picture of health collapse from sudden cardiac events. And here's what terrifies cardiologists: these aren't the patients we expect to lose. They're the ones who do everything right. In this video, I'm going to break down the 5 biological reasons why fitness doesn't equal immunity, why your clean diet might be irrelevant, and why the fittest person in the room might be the one most at risk. If you exercise regularly and assume your heart is fine, this video might save your life. Reason 1. The soft plaque paradox. Let's start with the thing that kills more fit people than anything else: soft plaque. To understand this, picture 2 water balloons. The first balloon has a thick rubber skin. You can squeeze it, drop it, throw it against a wall. It holds. The second balloon has paper-thin skin stretched to its limit. One wrong move and it explodes. Inside your arteries, plaque comes in 2 forms. Hard plaque is like that first balloon. It's calcified, stable, and visible on scans. It narrows the artery slowly over decades. You feel it. You get symptoms. You see a doctor. Soft plaque is the second balloon. It's filled with lipids, inflammatory cells, and covered by a fragile fibrous cap. It doesn't narrow the artery much. Blood flows normally. You feel nothing. But here's the terrifying part. Soft plaque doesn't need to be big to kill you. It just needs to rupture. When that thin cap tears, the contents spill into your bloodstream. Your body interprets this as a catastrophic injury. Platelets rush in. A clot forms in seconds. And suddenly, a vessel that was 40% open is now 100% blocked. This is why autopsy studies show that most fatal heart attacks occur in arteries with less than 50% blockage. The plaque wasn't large. It was unstable. And here's what makes this particularly cruel for fit people. Exercise doesn't shrink soft plaque. In some cases, the mechanical stress of intense training can actually destabilize it. You could have pristine cholesterol numbers and still be walking around with a loaded gun in your chest. Reason 2. The athlete's heart deception. Let me introduce you to a phenomenon called athlete's heart. When you train consistently at high intensities, your heart adapts, the walls thicken, the chambers enlarge, your resting heart rate drops. On paper, this looks like superhuman cardiovascular fitness. And for most people, it is. But here's what we're learning. For a subset of athletes, these same adaptations mask serious underlying problems. An enlarged heart can hide early signs of cardiomyopathy, a low resting heart rate can mask dangerous arrhythmias, and the ability to push through discomfort, the very thing that makes someone a great athlete, can override the warning signals that would send a normal person to the hospital. Think about it. If you've trained yourself to ignore pain, to push past fatigue, to keep going when everything in your body screams stop, how would you even recognize a heart attack? Studies on marathon runners have shown something disturbing. Immediately after a race, blood markers of cardiac damage spike. Troponin, the same protein we test for in heart attack patients, elevates dramatically after endurance events. For most runners, this is temporary. The heart recovers. But for those with underlying vulnerabilities, hidden inflammation, undiagnosed electrical abnormalities, genetic predispositions, this repeated stress doesn't build resilience. It accumulates damage. The very training that makes your heart look strong might be hiding the cracks forming inside it. Reason 3. The genetics you can't outrun. Let's talk about the factor that personal trainers and health influencers almost never mention. You can control your diet, you can control your exercise, you cannot control the genetic code you were born with. There's a condition called familial hypercholesterolemia. It affects roughly 1 in 250 people. That means in a stadium of 50,000 fans, 200 of them have this mutation. People with FH have LDL receptors that don't work properly. No matter how clean they eat, their liver cannot clear cholesterol from their blood efficiently. They can have LDL levels of 200, 300, even 400 while eating a perfect diet. These individuals start developing plaque in childhood. By their 30s, they can have the arteries of a 60-year-old. Many don't know until their first heart attack. But FH isn't the only genetic assassin. There's another marker called lipoprotein A, or Lp(a). This is a modified form of LDL that's particularly sticky and inflammatory. Unlike regular cholesterol, Lp(a) is almost entirely determined by genetics. Diet and exercise barely move it. Roughly 20% of the population has elevated Lp(a). Most have never had it tested because it's not included in standard lipid panels. You could get an annual physical, see normal cholesterol numbers, and have no idea that a genetic time bomb is ticking inside you. Here's what the fitness industry gets wrong. They tell you that if you eat right and exercise, you're protected. That cardiovascular disease is a lifestyle problem. For many people, that's true. But for those carrying these genetic variants, lifestyle is damage control, not a cure. They need aggressive intervention, medication, and monitoring that they're not getting because no one ever tested them. Your family history isn't just a form you fill out at the doctor's office. It's a warning signal that too many people ignore. Reason 4. The inflammation epidemic. Now let's talk about the silent driver that connects everything. Chronic inflammation. You can't feel inflammation, you can't see it, but it is the gasoline that turns a stable plaque into a fatal rupture. Here's how it works. When your body is in a chronic inflammatory state, your immune system is constantly activated. White blood cells patrol your bloodstream looking for threats. When they encounter LDL particles stuck in your artery walls, they try to consume them. Now, here's where fit people get into trouble. Intense exercise is inflammatory. That's actually how it works. You stress your body, create inflammation, and then recover stronger. This is healthy adaptation. But what happens when you stack exercise-induced inflammation on top of other inflammatory triggers? Poor sleep, work stress, ultra-processed foods, environmental toxins, hidden infections, gut dysbiosis, music. The fit person who trains hard, sleeps poorly, works a high-stress job, and relies on processed protein bars might have more systemic inflammation than an overweight person who walks daily and sleeps 8 hours. Fitness is not a shield. It's one variable in a complex equation. And the most dangerous part? Standard blood work doesn't test for inflammation properly. Your doctor checks your cholesterol but not your HSCRP, your fibrinogen, or your oxidized LDL. You could pass every standard test while your arteries are on fire. Reason 5. The electrical system failure. Let's address the killer that has nothing to do with plaque at all. Electrical malfunction. Your heart is not just a pump. It's an electrical system. Every single beat is triggered by a precise cascade of signals that coordinate millions of muscle cells to contract in perfect synchrony. When this electrical grid fails, the heart doesn't just slow down, it descends into chaos. This is ventricular fibrillation. Instead of beating, the heart quivers uselessly, like a bag of worms. Blood stops flowing, the brain loses oxygen, and within minutes, you're gone. And here's the devastating truth. Electrical problems often show zero symptoms until the moment they kill you. Yes, there are conditions like hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, where the heart muscle is abnormally thick, long QT syndrome, where the electrical reset takes too long between beats, Brugada syndrome, where the signaling channels themselves are defective. These conditions are genetic, they're invisible, and they disproportionately kill young athletic people because intense exercise is the trigger that exposes them. Let that sink in. The very stress that a conditioned heart should handle perfectly becomes the spark that ignites the malfunction. This is why seemingly healthy athletes collapse on the field, on the court, on the running trail. Their hearts look normal, their performance was elite, but their electrical wiring fundamentally flawed. A standard EKG might not catch these conditions. You might need specialized testing, stress echocardiograms, cardiac MRI, or genetic screening to unmask them. And most young, healthy people never get these tests because everyone assumes they don't need them. The path forward. So, where does this leave us? If soft plaque can rupture without warning, if genetics can override lifestyle, if inflammation hides in plain sight, and if electrical systems can fail catastrophically, what can you actually do? First, stop assuming fitness equals immunity. The ability to run a marathon tells you about your aerobic capacity. It tells you nothing about the stability of your plaque. It's your genetic risk factors or the integrity of your electrical system. Second, get advanced screening. A standard physical is not enough. Request a coronary artery calcium score. This $100 scan takes 5 minutes and quantifies the calcified plaque in your arteries. A score of 0 is reassuring. Anything above 0 demands attention. If you have risk factors, get a CT angiogram. This sees not just calcified plaque, but soft plaque. Get your Lp(a) tested. This is a one-time test because the level is genetically fixed. If it's elevated, you need to know. Check your inflammatory markers. HSCRP, homocysteine, SLNAPO-B give you a deeper picture than standard cholesterol alone. Third, know your family history. If a first-degree relative had a heart attack before 55, your risk is significantly elevated, regardless of how healthy you feel. Fourth, balance intensity with recovery. Chronic overtraining, without adequate sleep and stress management, creates a pro-inflammatory state that accelerates arterial damage. More is not always better. And finally, listen to your body. Any unexplained drop in performance, unusual fatigue, palpitations, or episodes of lightheadedness during exertion deserve investigation, not dismissal. The fit, young, healthy person who dies of a heart attack has almost never had 0 warning signs. They had warning signs they didn't recognize or chose to ignore. See, your heart doesn't care about your marathon time, your deadlift PR, or your body fat percentage. It cares about blood supply, electrical stability, and inflammatory load. The healthiest choice you can make isn't another workout. It's finding out what's actually happening inside your chest. Don't guess if you're healthy. Know it as early as possible. If you have any question, ask in comments. I will reply all of your query. And the main thing, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Wish you a healthy life.